like, if I ever got the death penalty, my last meal would be 5 pounds of unpopped popcorn, and I'd shove it in my ears, I'd shove it up my ass, I'd shove it in my nose, I'd eat as much as I could. So when they strapped me to the electric chair and threw that switch, boy howdy, is everyone getting a surprise.
Well, and the great thing about popcorn is they have actually proven that if you're around it too much, it does cause problems with your lungs. So you just shove you ingest enough of it, and then when you pop, you're now contributing to like lung cancer for everybody that's in the room watching it.
So like ears, ass, and belly just packed to the brim with popping kernels.
Yeah.
So when you go up they light you up, you're just gonna like shoot popcorn out of your mouth like a fountain.
Jiffy
Yeah,
Pop.
this is the kind of shit you talk about at 4 in the morning on guard patrol. Yeah, how would you go out?
Great.
Wow, I'm of course all the different permutations come to mind because like I just recently saw a video on how they did the popcorn scene in Real Genius.
I love that
And-
fucking movie. Sorry.
No, it is cool. Well, that's how I found out about a couple of things about popcorn. I knew if you aspirated it too much, it would actually do lung damage. But I also found out that popcorn is flammable.
Yes.
I mean, we've all popped popcorn. We all know that it burns, but no, apparently it is highly flammable and will just burst into flames. So they couldn't transport it already popped. They had to pop it on set. So that scene where they're popping where they're destroying the house, that's real. They're actually popping in real time all that popcorn.
That's fucking amazing because that is the best scene in the movie.
And they had a problem with the popcorn spontaneously bursting into flames while they were shooting it.
No, I think my favorite part of Real Genius was when oh God, what was his name? The asshole nerd.
Kent.
Kent.
Thank you.
When Kent thought God was talking to himself.
I forgot about
and Kent, yes, God, stop playing with yourself. It is God.
No. It is God, and he grabs his nuts while he's saying that.
Yeah.
You watch his hands subtly go grab his nuts.
That's actually on our list for Chris. He's old enough to see it now. We have 3 movies for him. We didn't get to watch them this weekend because of things. But he really wants to see Red Dawn. He wants to see Real Genius, and because he's a Monty Python fan, even though there's a nudity, Meaning of Life.
Is he weird about that still?
No, Steve and I weren't sure, but we explained the roller derby girl scene to him because that's Steve's favorite scene. And Chris was like, meh, I know why it's Steve's favorite scene. It's a lot of guys' favorite scene.
Yeah.
But my favorite scene is always the end, the scene with death, and also the rugby game. The rugby game has me laugh my ass off.
Which movie?
Monty Python's Meaning of Life. It was the last movie they made. Not Terry Gilliam. Graham Chapman knew he was dying, but didn't tell them and asked them if they could make one more movie.
I haven't seen that in decades.
It's an amazing one, and death has always been my favorite. That and the Every Sperm is Sacred musical.
I like it when who is it? Terry Jones is just standing there as the Catholic wife, and the baby just drops out.
Yep. Well,
drops out.
It was really funny to me because I technically I grew up Lutheran, and I say that because that's what my school was. My mom was Wiccan and my dad was atheist, but my school was Lutheran. And so that whole bit of it's like, well, I'm Protestant, I can just go down the street and buy a prophylactic, and it's like, and I'm kind of like, that they don't say that at school, but that is kind of the mentality.
Yeah, that whole movie is genius. Except I can't stand the restaurant scene. Every time it comes on, I start gagging.
Fast forward every time.
Yeah. Steve and our nephew made me sit through and watch it a couple of weeks ago, and because they were laughing because I was going the whole time.
No, Mr. Creosote, I always fast forward through that scene. And
Oh.
there have been a couple of times where I'm like, okay, I'm an adult now. It's been like 10 years since I've seen this scene. Let's see if I can deal with it. No. Can't do it.
Anytime I say that I've eaten too much, Steve will turn around and be like, "It's a wafer scene." I'm just like, "Oh, don't make me vomit, please."
You know, my stepdad would do that too. When they'd come around with the little mint, and he's like, "You want it? It's wafer thin." It's like, "Oh no, no, you've just now ruined it for me." No,
You've ruined dinner.
So I saw Ishi. So our Feminist Friday got us in trouble.
Did it?
That you said that, or was it you? YouTube's still pissed about our last episode.
Oh yeah, they throttled the hell out of it, even though we got really good ratings.
I think
Of
we
course
should
they
do
did.
that at least twice a month, a Feminist Friday.
Oh
actually,
my God, you nailed that. We said the same thing.
we were talking about that like right before the show started. Was let's make this regular, but not like a regular like every week thing, because I can't maintain that. But
Yeah, neither can I.
But once every 2 weeks, yeah, I can totally get bitchy that often.
Oh yeah, plus I can drink alcohol because it's Friday night. I don't have to take my kid to school in the morning.
You don't. You're that responsible adult who only drinks once a week. Yeah.
Oh man, I know a few feminists and they are fucking pissed at the way things have gone over the
Yeah.
last 20 years. Well, I know feminists who actually did the hard work. They were like the first into an MOS, or they did groundbreaking work, and they were at a time where how for the most part, if a woman, like, let's take a look at the female writers of She-Hulk. We're going back onto that topic. You don't look at them and say, oh, all women are too stupid to write courtroom dramas, because we know that's not true. It's
Mhm.
just these ones are too stupid.
Yes.
The women I know, the women that I know were going into this stuff at a time when it was every woman was judged by what these women did because there were so few women in there.
Mhm.
And now they're looking at all the advances they made, everything they did being just completely fucking wasted and destroyed. And they're like, I ate shit and fucking destroyed my life and destroyed my body for you to come along and say, oh, I'm so oppressed because a man walked by me. And they're thinking, I remember when there was no female bathrooms in this section, so I had to either go out in the bushes and piss, or I had to have a friend stand at the door and make sure nobody came in while I sat in a urinal and pissed. Yeah, I actually knew women who had to do that. There was no shitters in there. There was just like 3 urinals. If you were a woman and wanted to piss, you could either straddle it or sit in it and take your piss, and that was it.
That's women with balls, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Yes.
And now they're sitting here and looking at what's happening now with, oh, it was terrible. I felt so oppressed. Why? Well, there was males there. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, I would have to say, 60 years of feminism has been kind of a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh. Yeah, my wife
And
could
I
go
think
on and on about it.
I think I said it during the show last week that if if Wollstonecraft and Susan B. Anthony were to come forward in time and see what women have done with their rights, and seeing like AOC and all the college scandals and Harvey Weinstein, they'd probably just come down to shoot themselves.
Do you know what would really disgust them? Is what would really disgust them. One of the big things a lot of people don't know is women could have got the right to vote earlier, but the suffrage movement said no to be included in the draft.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Now, Susan B. Anthony was big on, no, you're not sending women into that shit.
Mhm.
And now it's screaming, we want to go into combat. We want to go into combat. And men who have been there are like, no, you can't. I've been called a sexist more than once because I'm like, I don't want to see women go into combat. And my wife knows I'm not a sexist because she's like, I'm not really too down with, she has mixed opinions.
Wait, wasn't your wife a combat medic? So she saw that horrific shit? Yeah.
Yes. And, she'd be like, when we get this straight, we fought to make it so you could have the right to vote and not get drafted to die with your guts out around your ankles screaming, and you just shit it all away. You really feel so safe that you think you can go to war and everything will be safe. And there are the women. Now, I'm not dogging the women who go there because they feel it's their patriotic duty and they feel like they should have the chance to say, I want to go in there and fight next to the guys because I don't want them taking chances that I won't. I can understand that. But most of the reasoning I hear is, well, I don't think women should be forbidden. Well, why not? Why shouldn't they be? Because men and women are equal.
No, they're not.
That's your
No.
reasoning.
I'm
And
still
it
looking
makes me sound
forward
like a
to.
terrible sexist, but I don't want to see that.
I'm still looking forward to Joe Biden's pregnant women in flight suits being door gunners on helicopters.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, that's a smart idea.
My wife had
So-
to fight in the military because there's a thing. Once they find out you're pregnant, you're not allowed to wear your gear harness, your helmet. At least this is how it used to be. Without a helmet, you can't go past the cattle guard, which means you can't go out to the training ranges, you can't go out to the gunnery ranges, any of that. And at the time she was in, Fort Hood, which is a complete hole, had a habit of sending women across the cattle guard without a helmet. Either that or taking Article 15, which is non-judicial punishment. And she had to fight this because women were miscarrying. Because their chain of command didn't give a fuck. And she had to fight this, and then she turns around and sees them undoing all this shit. All of this shit. And it's like, for the love of God. And I can remember, they make a big deal over the lactation rooms and stuff.
Yeah.
We had, women get pregnant. We had women that were breastfeeding in my unit, and they had, it was just a first floor room that they went in and whipped it out. It wasn't that big of a deal. But it's different now, and I don't know how to describe it. I don't know what went wrong.
Liberalism.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Something flipped in the 2000s because by the 90s, I think we had reached equilibrium.
Yeah. It was it really. We've gotten into this. It was around 2012,
Mm-hmm.
and it was in full swing by 2015. But getting back to the Future real quickly, you realize, or not Back to the Future. I'm sorry, Real Genius.
Mm-hmm.
You realize there is one lifelong effect that it will have on your son, Janelle.
What's that?
He'll have his first crush.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, my first crush was Chris Knight.
Yeah, same here.
You're
Yeah,
female.
for the girls, it's Chris Knight.
Well, okay. Chris Knight wasn't my first crush. That was actually Johnny Five. But no,
She's not kidding.
No, I'm not kidding. I'm really not. But Chris Knight was definitely a close second.
Let's see, Chris Knight. I forgot who had a crush before that. Honestly, I think it was He-Man. No, it was Lino. I was in love with Lino.
There you go. Good choice.
Oh, my first crush was probably Wonder Woman.
I'm with you on that.
Another good.
The thing is, though.
Now, are you talking the comic book or are you talking Linda Carter?
Linda Carter.
Linda Carter.
There you go.
Now,
And
keep in
the
mind,
Bionic Woman. I had a thing for women like that.
there's a bit of an age difference, I think, between you and I, just by a little bit. So I didn't quite have a crush on Wonder Woman. I just knew that I really wanted to hug her as a kid.
Oh, yeah.
I just really wanted to wrap my arms around Wonder Woman.
She's very huggable.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's weird is one of my biggest movie star crushes was actually somebody that's going to startle everybody in here to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Grace Jones.
Really?
She was
doesn't
so
surprise
exotic and so beautiful, and her part in Conan the Destroyer just boom.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I can totally see that.
I loved her in Vamp. I know that's a little known movie, but that movie's so fucking good.
Okay.
That is such a bizarre scene with her in it when she first shows up.
Oh yeah, her dancing scene.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think the only time I've ever been that like weirded out, but in a good way, was with Gene Simmons in Never Too Young to Die.
I have not seen that one.
His cabaret. You gotta Google it. It's on YouTube. It's amazing. If I didn't already know that what's her name? Ursula from The Little Mermaid was based off of Divine, I would have thought that it was Gene Simmons in Never Too Young to Die.
Gene Simmons.
Oh,
You looking it up now?
Yes.
You,
Oh God! I just typed in Gene Simmons never. Holy shit!
that is such a bizarre film.
I need to watch this movie from beginning to end now.
Yes,
this is
you do.
amazing.
We own it. It's John Stamos as young James Bond.
Look at that pink headdress. Holy shit! I am in love with this already.
Yes. Oh, and Robert Englund's in that film.
Okay, you have me sold. I need to find this movie and watch it.
Oh my God, I found it.
That's fucking amazing.
It's kind of a cult
Check the
classic.
private chat. It's one of those movies.
Yes.
Okay, hold on. Hopefully
Okay.
this won't get us banned. Let's share a
God.
screen here.
John Stamos is a baby.
Yeah, he is. He's just this little thing. He's so young. Oh, and crap, who's in it? She was part of Prince's entourage.
Oh, Carmen Electra?
Vanity?
No.
Oh, no, Vanity.
Vanity's in it.
Yeah, Vanity was a lot hotter.
Oh,
She's the
Vanity
Bond
was
girl in
fucking
this.
gorgeous.
And I'm not kidding. This really was supposed to be a James Bond film, and they couldn't get the rights to it. So they're like, okay, we'll just make our own stuff up.
What the fuck am I looking at?
This is great. I am
Okay.
loving it.
Okay, we're going to play it, people. Here we go.
It's vaguely familiar.
This is the trailer.
And
Oh.
I only wish that
Movie.
they clearly had a different film in mind.
Oh, this
And-
is the whole thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's the whole thing.
Okay, where's the scene? Where's the scene? There's the scene. There's the scene.
Yeah, that's the scene I'm watching right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Velvet. It's not Velvet Jones. It's Velvet.
Velvet Jones. That was the pimp that Eddie Murphy played.
Yeah, it's Velvet something. I'm trying to remember.
Oh my God, this is so 80s it hurts.
Want to
There
be
we
a
go.
Oh
hoe.
man, the 80s is awesome. All that neon
Oh,
dinginess.
yeah.
I fucking love it.
The neon, the dinginess, the acid
That
rain.
that is
Yeah.
that really is Gene Simmons,
That
everyone.
is Gene Simmons, the demon himself.
He was in another movie. He was in another movie where he was a terrorist. I remember that because we sat in the barracks and watched that, and we're like, "This is a great."
He was a
fucking
terrorist in two different movies.
Really?
Wanted Dead or Alive and
That one.
Runaway.
Well,
Wanted
he's
Dead or
definitely
Alive
a
is good.
terrorist
That was
in
Rutger
this,
Hauer.
too. In this, he's trying to blow up one of the dams that's there above Los Angeles.
John Stamos is having the correct reaction here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You seeing this?
This is really happening,
movie.
right?
It's really happening, right? Well, if you've ever walked into a bar and had some shit like this happening, you look at the person next to you, and they're looking at you like, "What?"
Did we go into the right place?
And if you should always have that happen at least once in your life. Where you're like, I don't know if we should be here, man.
Abigail, that is one hell of a goal to have, and I endorse it thoroughly. Now,
Yeah.
I would say that this is shocking, and his reaction's correct, but I must admit, when I was in San Francisco, I did see worse.
Well, it is San Francisco.
I definitely did see worse.
Yeah. Didn't have the bodysuit.
That's like my daughter wanted to watch Halloween movies last year, and I was scrolling through the Scooby Doo's, and there was one that she's like, "I want to watch that, I want to watch that," and I couldn't believe she wanted to watch it, and she sat there clapping along and having a great time watching Kiss and Scooby Doo.
I did not.
Kiss and Scooby. Is that the animated one?
Yes, and the new one,
Okay.
to boot. Not the old one, not the old 70s, 80s one, but the new one.
Oh God! I mean, we've got a bootleg. I'm sorry, a fell off the truck version of Kiss meets the Phantom of the Park.
That was awful.
Yeah, it's embarrassingly bad, actually.
This is fucking amazing.
Yeah,
I've like checked out of the conversation. I'm too busy watching Gene Simmons
it's
in
Gene
drag.
Simmons in drag. I mean, come on.
Actually, the Kami Slayer Angel video I did, the first one,
Mhm.
I
It's
used
over now.
clips from this film, the audio,
Hmm.
in that trailer. So, there's the bit where the drag queen in my trailer says, "I'm woman and man. I'm the best of both worlds. I'm better than you."
Yes.
That's from that movie.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh. Okay, you guys have made your case. I'm gonna watch this movie on YouTube. It's fantastic.
Yes,
Probably gonna
you
Oh.
watch
gotta
it
watch that
tomorrow.
film. And again, we actually own it, so yeah, we got a legal copy. Oh my
Jennifer
gosh.
Connelly, yeah, in her prime, yeah.
Oh, Jennifer Connelly. Yeah.
She
Oh,
was definitely Rocketeer
her in that silver dress.
in the Rocketeer.
Yes. Oh God.
I would say that was boner-tastic.
When I was young, I wanted to grow up to be her in that dress. I mean, yes, I had aspirations of being Jessica Rabbit, but Connolly, was not a cartoon character. So it's like I could actually be that.
I think I realized that she was one of the most beautiful women I'd ever seen when her opening scene in the green sequin dress in Dark City, when she's singing.
Yeah.
That's when I stopped
yes.
looking at her as Sarah from Labyrinth and actually saw her as an adult woman. Like, oh my God, she's actually got boobs, like big boobs.
Very, very nice ones, yes.
And yeah, and she's a woman.
I have to admit, I have never seen The Rocketeer, and I don't know why. I know I want to see it. It's got
seen it a long time
Timothy
ago.
Dalton is the bad guy. I need to see it.
It has the line, "I'm a criminal, but I'm no commie."
Yeah.
Which actually has some truth to it. That actually happened in World War II.
Yeah, it did. Well, you had Alcatraz. They were all the prisoners were like, "Hey, what can we do to help the war effort? Yeah, we may be locked up, but what can we do to help?" It's like, that's so goddamn cool. You're not going to get that now.
Okay,
different time.
It is a different time.
So you wanted to grow up to be Jessica Rabbit, then Jennifer Connelly. Where along the lines did you decide you wanted to grow up to be this?
To be Noi?
Oh, no way.
Yeah. When did this become your ideal?
You got to give me a moment to think about the exact character moment.
I mean, there was at some point where she became better than Ivy Valentine to you.
Oh, when she became better than Ivy Valentine, the day I opened up Dorohedoro #1. I mean,
I've actually got a character that looks like that.
Yeah, I just opened up the book. I'm like, holy crap, where has she been all my life? I love her.
Okay, well, wait. Take a step back. Because we've got Raltz on, as always, let's promote his books.
Okay.
He has a character that looks like this. Do tell.
You do?
She's not in the published stuff yet. Her name is Roka. I can't remember her whole name, but her name is Roka, and she's number one. She's a narcissist as hell, but she's what's called monster class infantry, and she can basically do a physical change. But one of the defining things about her is what during her introduction, when I'm introducing her to it, it's talking about how she ended up taking part in a civil war. And like 50 years later, she's hooked up with a polyamorous couple, and they're having their little mini orgy. And she happens to see on the TV that they're doing a documentary of that war, and she sees herself up on the wall firing the machine gun, and she loses interest in the sex and wants to watch herself on the TV because she's so narcissistic.
I'm shocked she didn't it didn't make her get even more wet watching herself on the TV.
It did. It mentions that she wanted to be done doggy style so she could watch herself on TV.
Shit.
Okay, I have to say,
and readers loved her.
I am in the middle of reading Behold Humanity, May We Come In. You got me 2 pages in the first chapter with the ice cream.
Wasn't that great?
Fucking dying. I woke my husband up because I was guffawing so bad. I was like, this is not what I was expecting. I've been too busy to finish the book, but for the first 2 weeks I was reading it nonstop. And I gotta say, man, that is a brilliant story you are writing. I love it. One of my favorites.
Chapters with him.
There's later chapters with that guy?
Yeah.
Oh, thank God. Because I was dying.
The Gestalts watch Help a thought totally on purpose and not at all accidentally saved Christmas.
Okay, I have not gotten to that point yet. I think let's see, where did I leave off? I think it was with like the fucking cat girls,
Oh,
like
the
hacking
insane
in
one.
and like demanding to go battle. I was like, what the fuck is going on? The
Oh, it
absolute
just keeps going.
chaos. They're going like doki doki.
That's all they can say because their brains are burnt out.
I know people don't know what we're talking about. If you haven't read the book, read the fucking book. It is the funniest. Like, it's pure ralts, guys. It is so amazing. But yeah, just the cat girls. I also like the take on Warhammer, where you had the Ultramarines fighting the orcs on. Jesus.
Oh,
Good
where
shit.
they wandered into the game where the aliens come in and they're having a live game, and it's using fast bait clones and shit.
I was thinking to myself, that is a dream come true for anybody who plays Warhammer 40K. If they could have like actual clones to be able to go out and battle with, like that would change tabletop gaming. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
I loved it. As a Warhammer 40K fan, that chapter really made me laugh. Plus, I'm loving the orcs running through the different battles. It's been great. That book is fun.
I just finished chapter 837 today.
Holy shit!
And it looks like it's gonna wrap. It looks like it's gonna wrap up around 1,000.
Oh
and
my god! Okay,
we all know what the last line of the series is, of the first series. It's dash dash dash. Nothing follows.
I love that at the end of each chapter. I really do. The messages, those are good.
Oh, the gestalts, yeah.
Yeah. Just the responses from everybody watching this war play out is great.
Wolf, why did you say get Noi off the screen? Seriously. And second, just so the readers know or listeners know, in a future episode of The Writer's Room, we will be reviewing in full Behold Humanity.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
I'm glad you liked Vuxen's story arc, Iron Cast Knight. As a matter of fact, he's in the last chapter I just wrote, 836. One thing I did, if you read a lot of science fiction, especially military science fiction, have you ever noticed that the main characters, the protagonist, always jumps up in rank really fast, and you never see them go to school or get any training? You ever noticed that?
Well, I haven't gotten that far in.
Well, I'm just talking
I
about
know what you
military
mean.
fiction completely.
Okay, yeah. I noticed that in Old Man's War, the Scalzi series.
Yeah, they never go to school. They never go to school, and I can tell you, every officer I knew was always fighting to go to a school, because you go to school to expand your knowledge base and everything. And a lot of people seem to think that you're a leader if you just pin on the general's rank, and that's not how it goes. So I've got a lot of scenes where some of the protagonists are like going to school.
Okay, I like that because that means that they're actually learning something.
Yeah, because there's stuff like one of them's like, if I hadn't have commanded human troops in garrison, I would think that the idea of having to figure out how to punish a soldier who sexually assaulted a vending machine wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
That reminds me of an art piece Ishii did where it's a guy fucking a gonk.
A what?
Wait, didn't he show that before when he was showing some of his old artwork that we said he should make into a coffee table book? I swear that
I think I saw that picture.
Sorry, I just faded out there for a minute. What was the question?
Raltz brought up that he has a character making love to a vending machine, and I said that reminded me of the picture you drew of the guy fucking a gonk.
Oh, okay, yeah, I might need to grab that. Let me see if I've still got that in memory.
I can't read that, but do they eat crayons? Yes, there's actually a pretty famous picture in the series of a Marine sitting there completely at peace with the world with great big wide eyes, eating his MRE of crayons, thumbtacks, and glue.
Wow.
Have you seen that meme that shows how the different people in the military eat?
Oh,
so you've
God,
got the guys in the army eating like the shitty MREs. Then you have the Marines eating thumbtacks, glues, and crayons with relish.
Yeah.
And then you have the Air Force and they're eating like a 5-star meal. And then you have the Navy and they're on their knees sucking on sausage and bananas.
Yeah. I've seen that.
Sounds about right. Yeah. That
that
sounds about
meme.
right on all of those.
And it's drawn anime style, so you've got the girl in the navy with like, you know, hentai face, the blushing and like the drool and the tears, and just
Well, I told you guys about the people that we knew who served on the Shitty Hawk.
The Kitty Hawk,
Yeah.
which they called the Shitty Hawk. Yeah,
because it was really fucking old, right?
that and some other things.
But
The
I knew a
Shitty
couple of
Kitty is
people
what
that
they called
served
it.
on it.
but
I
there
think
was
that
a
link will work.
there was
Yep,
a
it works.
woman who was a higher up who got busted down to semen because of how promiscuous she was on board, to the point where they couldn't ignore it anymore, and they specifically bust her down to semen as a punishment because of her last name, because her last name was Tester. So the Navy does have a sense of humor.
Oh my god, I love it. That's great shit.
Oh man.
You know, the thing was living in a Navy town, but then also not being far from an Air Force town. It's a very interesting experience. You know, you
With
start
the
to,
Marines in the middle there.
yeah, with the Marines in the middle, because you
Yeah.
start to see patterns, and
Yeah.
that is Marines always had stripper girlfriends.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah.
I mean, kind of trashy, huge fake boobs, strippers. Fighter pilots in both branches seem to have these smoking hot, like bikini model women.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Admirals always seem to have these women who are MILFs.
Mm-hmm.
And then seamen had these gigantic fat women
Yes.
that were just like land whales.
No, boats.
The
Boats.
dependopotamus.
Yes.
Oh, the dependopotamus.
Endopotamus.
And it was like, why is this?
That's like the old joke. What do you guys use to hunt for hogs in Texas? Well, I don't know about you, but around here we use Tricare.
Ouch.
Okay,
Ouch.
so
Not a joke, but ouch.
Yes.
Is-
Okay, I
is-
remember this.
is this the art piece you were talking about?
What I was talking about, yeah.
Like clang, clang, clang.
Or is it this one?
No, it was the other one. That one's good too.
Oh wait, wow.
These are great.
He is just about ready to.
It's ready. I mean, really, I've only been delaying it because I didn't want to run a Kickstarter while writing. I mean, it's ready to go. I could publish this now.
He has an art book of all of these pieces.
Yeah,
So.
I have an entire art book worth of these art pieces, and yeah, it's strictly I've been so busy writing what I'm working on, and it's like, unless Kat wants to solely manage the Kickstarter, I can't do it myself.
Let me switch my position at work, and we'll see.
Because yeah, it is ready to go otherwise. But yeah, I have a whole collection of these. Let me open up the DeviantArt page just to give people a sense of what I'm talking about. But yeah, everyone see Ralt's book there? Go buy it.
Yes, go buy it. You will
It
not be
is-
disappointed.
Fun.
And it's you don't have to worry about waiting years in between each book, because right now it's just they're in editing. I think the next one will be out by the end of the month, and then it starts editing on the next one. Because I've written 2.7 million words, and that's where we're heading.
Damn. You're gonna beat out Stephen King at that rate.
The worst
Good.
part
So,
is
Someone needs to beat
just
him
a
out.
real, just old picture of me.
Oh my god.
Okay, that little Jawa was like cute because like, you know, we were like giving her direction. It's like, no, steal his wallet. And she's like, should I? It's like, yeah, it'll be okay.
These are great.
have to break the dick.
You know how authors have like pictures at the back of the book showing who they are? Do you
Yeah.
need to have the one with the Jawa hitting you in the nuts with the zapper? That needs to be the photo.
Not me sitting in the pile of notes, pictures, a rat, and a handgun.
I remember when you posted that picture on Twitter.
That was
a
totally
great
unintentional.
pic.
I'm sitting there and Cat ran in and snapped the picture.
You had posted saying that you were trying to find inspiration for something. There you were with the pile and the rats right there, and there's the gun. I was just like, holy shit.
Well, we were packing at that time, and it was just things were just perfectly placed, and he had the rat on his shoulder for just to like reassure the rat that it was okay. And I'm like, I gotta take a picture.
That's a good picture. Actually, you know what? You should do that one. It's offensive enough.
But yeah, I've got a whole series of these. It was kind of a weird thing. I don't know. It was like I actually life was really shitty at the time.
Yeah, you were losing your shit.
My publisher would not pay me for Titanium Rain, so I would not give them book 2.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandfather had died, and I was losing my shit, and I was drinking a lot, and I do mean a lot. It's the only time in my life that I drank heavily. And I don't know, it was just I played 2 Gary Newman albums, Replicas and Pleasure Principle, on a loop, and just produced all of these in a period of about 5 or 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And I had been cleaning them up ever since to make them print friendly. And yeah, I've got a whole story to go with it and everything.
I forgot I did some of those. Sorry, you showed the sketch cards. It's like, oh, I forgot I did some of those.
But yeah,
Total Wars. Minty flavor.
Okay, well, the whole story is that in the future we've achieved world peace and everything's fine, but 2 soda companies go to war, and since there are no more armies, they create robots to go to war. But everyone gets sick of their shit, and eventually the war ends, and we've got a population of robots we don't know what to do with. And then the rest of the book is just this bizarre robot culture that is formed in this one part of the city. And that's it. That's the whole basis of all the artwork.
That's an interesting thing, because I actually have to address, what do you do with all these, highly modded troops at the end of the war? And it's kind of funny because the humans get asked that, what do you do with these guys at the end of the war? And the diplomat dreams of something more goes, war never ends.
Yeah.
War never changes. War never ends. There's always the next war.
Yeah, they talked about that in Ghost in the Shell, the sustainable war.
Mm-hmm.
That was the world's economy by the latest season of Ghost in the Shell that we watched.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So
the
here
world's
we have
economy became war-based.
Bot prostitution is one of the jobs that.
Of course.
Then for some reason they're addicted to magnesium and ether. Let's see if there's any more. Here's someone who's actually a human, but his brain's floating.
The hoo-ha saloon.
That's the introduction to Daxon right there. Brain
I was
in a
gonna
jar.
say it looks like Daxon.
Why do you keep the eyes in the jawbone? Because it's funny.
Funny.
Wow.
But wait, aren't the kitty cats? Isn't even Fido have his jaws still? They have body parts. Yeah. But
Robot,
okay, by the way, Fido is my favorite character. He is really good boy.
Yes.
I love him.
PA or F?
Poor Yorick. I knew him well.
Oh, this is Robot Theater. Then, of course, there are robots that were built to serve, and that's all they were meant to do. But now that they're recognized as humans, they have desires, and so they go to dominatrixes to punish them and tell them to do things and give them menial tasks.
That's such a brilliant idea. It's just a clang, clang, clang. See that?
Yeah, I don't know. There wasn't any real sense to any of it. I just, whatever came out of my head.
For just seeing that, first thing I thought was the Deer Hunter.
Oh, wow.
Oh, Jesus.
And, you know, some of these are vaguely inspired by the Gary Newman songs, but it's just kind of stream of consciousness.
Oh, stream of consciousness, you produce some amazing stuff.
Oh, and then there's vaudeville.
Mm-hmm.
Not vaudeville, but vaudeville, for anyone who's old enough to remember what that is.
BAUD.
Yes.
Odd.
Okay, I don't know what vaudeville is.
Vaude.
Inform me. Huh?
Vaude was
Vaudeville.
modem speed.
Oh, okay. I know what vaudeville is, but I hadn't heard vaudeville or.
Play on words.
Okay.
So Amanda Cray and her alluring fan dance. Oh, is that all of them?
Yeah,
I think
that
it started in the middle.
that works
'cause there's
pretty
one
well.
there.
I mean, that's some shit you'd expect to see in the digital artificial sentience systems.
Here's a robot prostitute.
Oh, these
Yeah,
are good.
I hate to say it, but I've been out in the field long enough. I'd come back and tag that fucking thing. I'd be like, how many credits?
I haven't been on my DeviantArt in ages.
They
I only
actually
posted a
deleted
few
mine
things on
for,
there.
not being used enough.
Oh, really? They deleted yours?
Yeah, they deleted mine a long time ago.
Freaking
Oh,
bastards.
Oh, let's see. What is it, DeviantArt?
Yeah, I had some
I
good
used to have
stuff
an
up there that I don't know if I still have anymore.
Oh man, let's see if I remember my.
Now, this guy's a tax collector, but he's kind of crazy because he keeps receiving radio transmissions from nearby radio stations in his brain.
Oops.
That's cool.
I love the bow tie.
Huh.
Oh God, he's Rodney Dangerfield.
Yes,
I get
he
no
is.
respect. Oh my gosh.
Oh, I did that old joke of that's not my USB connection. That's connector. That's not my gold-plated USB cable. And a lot of people never heard that reference before.
Really?
Oh no.
That's not my belly button. That's not my finger. But yeah,
Oh,
I was surprised a
no.
lot of people hadn't heard that one.
This is the guy that's on the shirt, right?
Oh, yeah, I have a bunch of these on T-shirts.
Well, you also drew a Nightcat face a couple of times.
Yeah. And here's the park from Gary Newman's Down in the Park, which was kind of the start of all of this.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, did you ever read a science fiction where they had a place called Anarchy Park, but it was being watched over by these robots that prevented crime, and some genius figured out how to sort out all the drones that kept watch over the park, and it went to real anarchy, and they found out that real anarchy wasn't fun?
Yes, I did. That's, I believe, a Harlan Ellison story.
Good. Okay, so I didn't imagine it because I kind of remembered reading it, and I've been thinking about that for a few years ago.
Yeah, it
And
was Anarchy Park, and it was like, again, he was making fun of hippies.
Yeah.
I mean, it was very clear that's what it was.
because
And
it
the
was
moment
hippies
they
that sorted out the drones, so they didn't have the actual protection of society, and everything came apart, and they were trying to get out of the park.
Yeah, and then suddenly anarchy wasn't fun anymore.
Yeah.
I just love how these people think that anarchy is going to be like the greatest thing ever. I mean, they didn't learn anything from the chop.
No.
Anarchy is 4th grade gym class for all eternity.
Oh,
I went to a private school. I don't think I had that type of anarchy, but it definitely was. I did experience my own version of Carrie in high school in the showers, so that's kind of up there.
A lot of girls do, from what I hear.
real quickly before we go back to your topic, when I do run the Kickstarter for this, or Indiegogo, whichever, the way that we're going to do it is I'm just going to sell the original art pieces.
Oh, wow.
And that's basically going to be the incentives.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of original
Looks like I got to
art
save up my
pieces,
money then.
You might
So-
like this, Itchy.
Yeah.
Original art pieces. My wife picked me up for my birthday a original printing of Lord Soth surrounded by the naked banshees sitting
Are
on
you
his
kidding
throne,
me?
and it's numbered. Yeah, she got me one of them. He only sold 200 of them. My wife got me one,
Oh, I am so jealous.
and it's
I love Lord
gorgeous.
Soth. And I know the piece you're talking about. I'm so jealous of you. She loves you. That woman loves you.
Oh my
Lord Soth?
God.
Lord Soth.
Soft.
Lord Soth. Dragonlance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fantasy's more Cat's
Yeah,
domain
there
than
you go.
mine.
No, he's the undead knight who gets sucked into Ravenloft.
There was up there for a
Because-
picture, but yeah, he only sold like 200 of them. She got one.
Oh my! I know the piece that you're talking about. She loves you. That is a good woman. That is a very good woman. I just kill for a picture of just a picture of Lord Soft, just a nice print, let alone a limited edition. So that's amazing.
Yeah, and it's fully uncensored, so it's definitely not something you usually see.
No.
God, seeing all this artwork makes me want to go back and relearn how to draw.
Yeah, same. I need to get back to drawing.
Like I
am so
literally have lost.
rusty.
I've lost my skill. I was so one night I was testing my own product and I liked it a little bit too much, so I busted out my pencil and paper and decided I was going to recreate the X-Men teams. And I was able to draw them, like put them into shape, and then when it came to finally putting in the detail, my brain was just like, I don't remember how to do this.
No work good.
Yeah, like, and then when I went back sober, my brain was still like, no, I wasn't kidding. It wasn't because you were drunk.
He is doing
Well-
another run of them. He's doing a second run of 500. So here is the link for you
Thank you.
because it sold
No,
so well. He's doing another one.
My plan is I every year I try to participate in Drawloween or Inktober, depending on which group looks like they have the most interesting prompts. And I always try to participate. And so my plan is that this October I'm gonna try to do a drawing every single day of the month. I know I'm not going to succeed, but damn it, I'm going to try.
You know what kills me? And I know it's the easiest for some people. You give me a nature setting, I can paint that no problem. I can do Bob Ross style, no problem. I can draw buildings. You give me a human being these days, and it's like, oh, my brain has forgotten everything.
Actually, I have the opposite problem. I can do,
Really?
people, no problem. It's things.
Okay, quick aside. Abigail says, hey, I didn't know Ishii did the cybernetic geisha for his channel banner.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was actually what I had done is I just finished writing, I believe, Tabula Rasa.
Mhm.
And after writing something so hideously dark, I wanted to do something that was just beautiful. Seriously, it was just, I need to draw some or create something beautiful after doing that. So that's where that came from.
Mhm.
That is gorgeous.
I actually originally, before when I first saw it, I thought it was something from Ghost in the Shell, and then I saw that you did it, and I was like, oh, holy shit, that is amazing.
I've always been jealous of artists.
I can't really consistently repeat the same image over and over again, which is why it was very hard doing my own comics. But I can fake it well enough to do art. And most of the cover art, aside from Case File Arkham and World War Kaiju, I actually did all my own cover art. And actually, the new cover for Hellathon I've done.
Yes.
And for any of you out there wondering, I charge anywhere between 100 and 300, depending on how hard it is.
Mhm. And Neostar, I love that idea. Doc Savage versus Dracula. I am so there.
I thought he
Make
was
it
actually quoting
happen.
a real story because I could believe that. I read most of those books when I was a kid.
Hey,
Of
can
the
I
Doc
share some?
Savage?
And I don't have them anymore.
Can I share something real quick?
Yeah.
So you guys know I have that cherry blossom picture.
Mhm.
Like, I drew this. Can you see it? So yeah, like I said, I can do nature, no fucking
Ooh.
Oh,
problem.
nice.
You
That's
give me a
pretty.
human
Can you
though.
blow her up? Her.
Humans are hard.
Yeah. So yeah, you give me nature, I can bust it out like mind's eye, but I try to draw a human, and like I said, I can get the necessary shape down, connect the dots. It's not all just scribbles and lines. Then it's time for detail, and it's like, fuck.
Have you? Do you follow Nerd Forge?
No, I do not.
Watch some of her videos because she does like these amazing landscapes and forest scenes and even dragons. But people don't seem to be one of her strong suits, but how she gets away with it is she puts them in silhouette oftentimes. So
Oh.
you'll have like she did this beautiful oil painting of this blue dragon head, and then it's in the foreground, but it's teeny tiny, is this little warrior facing off against the dragon, and it's mostly in silhouette except for correct highlighting around the edges to show that it's not a cardboard cutout. But great job, and she does that with a lot of her people, so that might be maybe a way to approach it.
That's a good idea. Okay, Nerd Forge, she's on YouTube.
Yeah, I've learned so much from watching her videos. I found she's not very good at doing urban stuff.
But it's okay because she's like really cute and highly energetic. So
yeah, she's amazingly cute and adorable. She's from Norway, and
pink hair, cute. Not mental illness pink hair, but that nice fluorescent cute pink hair.
Yeah, she's got the not obnoxious, not problems pink hair. Sometimes she has purple, occasionally she has blue, but it's not problem colors. It's definitely she's legit. And I will admit it took me a good 6 months to kind of warm up to her because I had to get over the color of her hair.
No, it was that her boyfriend was a cock.
That and her boyfriend, but once I warmed up to them, I've learned so much from their channel, so I highly recommend.
By the way, I'm showing covers that I've done, so if any of you actually want to hire me.
Hey, go back to Crazy Mary. Did you write or illustrate that? That's something I don't have. Because it says 01.
I have mixed opinions about Crazy Mary.
Crazy Mary was written by Michael Colbert and illustrated by J.K. Woodward.
And I did co-write one of the episodes to make it make sense, but we'll talk off air why we don't sell it anymore.
Gotcha. Do you there was one book that I did not get. It was the body horror book.
Sadist Bible?
That's okay.
Yes.
You
Do
probably
still
don't
have
want to
it?
read that.
I don't.
We still have it. We still carry it. We'll talk after the show.
Gotcha.
It's a good book, but
there's a baby. And
no, okay, yeah. If it's children, I can't do that.
Things happen to the baby.
Yeah, I can't do that.
They're not stated. They're not stated. But things happen to the baby.
Okay, yeah. As a parent, that's a no.
Yeah,
hard no.
That scene in AVB2 to me, I was like, click.
Yeah.
Like, no, not doing that.
And if any of you play the Vert role-playing game, this is actually in the book.
That's also artwork for your music.
Well, yeah, it started as artwork for Takshaka, but okay, let's see. Oh, somebody says, sadly, Nerd Forge's hair.
It's a beautiful honey color. That's cool. Trenton, Ishi, you did the cover for Hellathon that I just got from Amazon. Was it the Kindle edition, which I got, or a hard copy?
Let's see if I have it in memory. I don't know if he's actually uploaded it yet, to be honest with you.
I don't think he's changed it yet.
But let me see if I can't find it. But anyways, you guys talk. Talk about other stuff.
Okay. Talk amongst yourselves.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Do
too
it, do
busy
it.
staring at artwork. Like, I'm completely checked out of the conversation.
Well,
I
that's
got
not
arrested.
good.
I got
Well,
arrested
no,
on
no,
a
I
few weeks
don't mean
ago.
that in a bad way. I mean, Ishi, you're a good artist. So I'm like, when I see art that I like, I'll check out of a conversation. Like, you can't take me on an art tour to an art museum because I completely shut everybody else out and I'll study the stuff that I like. It's just how I roll. Doesn't mean the conversation is shit.
How do you function at Comic-Con then?
The same way I do, probably, which is just wandering into daze, unaware of myself.
This was the first year in a long time I did not wander in a daze. Oh god, I keep forgetting to put the stuff up of all the artists. I'm such a shit for not doing that. Like if I find good artwork, I actually am like that weirdo that will stand at the booth and stare at every piece and probably weird out the people that are there because I'm studying everything I like.
I'm getting to the point where I'm just gonna have to go to France and knock down Enrico Marini's door and say, shut up and take my money and give me your book, Noir Burlesque, because he has it and it's there, but the only way I can get it in English is for Kindle, and it's like, no, I need this in a physical form.
Yeah, that's got to stop. Actually, it is specifically because I don't trust the longevity of Kindle that I have taken to purchasing books from people that I like, which is why I purchased Ralph's book in hardcover. It was just like, look, I can't trust that it's always going to be there or unedited.
Well, that, and yes, photons fired into your eyeballs does look pretty, but there's something to be said for like a piece on the page, an art ink on the page, and yeah, Marini's artwork is just it's both some of the most beautiful artwork and some of the most erotic artwork I have ever seen in my entire life. And I really want Noir Burlesque because it's both of those things in a noir setting. It's like, fuck you, print it.
I kept harassing him to work with me for the next Case File Arkham, and he finally said, look, I don't work well with others.
Yeah.
At least he admitted it.
Yeah.
Hellathon, what is that, running a marathon through hell?
He just recently.
This is the cover that I did for Randy.
He recently put out a piece where it's the main character from Noir Burlesque having a romantic interlude with Carmilla from Raptors.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And Raptors, if those who don't know, it's erotic vampires. That's all you need to know. And it's beautiful and it's French. So it looks vaguely Eon Fluxy. And it's just, oh my God, it's just such amazing artwork. So now it's like two amazingly hot, beautiful women fucking each other. It's like, I need this in my life. Why can't I have this? God damn it.
I had to explain to somebody what I meant when I said it was really good and it's very French. Somebody wrote a piece of fan fiction for my stuff. And my first thought was, this is very French. Because French always has this melancholy tone to the whole thing, where things will get better, but right now things are terrible.
They do. They really do.
It's in the way they talk. It's when you're sitting, when you're sitting in the boxes in an alley at 3 a.m, smoking cigarettes with some French guy, and he's telling you about, oh yeah, my girlfriend left me for another man, but I'm sure I'll find love again someday, even though she was so beautiful. He's very melancholy about the relationship, but he's still looking ahead at everything. It's hard to explain to people who have never really watched French movies or read French literature or hung around with French people. So when you say it's very French, some people are like, what the hell do you mean?
Unfortunately, the only French movies that I have seen are Gaspar Noé films. So Irreversible and Love.
Oh, you got to see the original La Femme Nikita.
I watched the beginning of that, and it was so late at night, and I was into it, but I fell asleep. That's the one with what's her name? She played in Immortal Blood. She played a vampire.
Yeah.
And she was also in the Man in the Iron Mask. She was the mom, the Queen Dowager.
There's a scene in the original La Femme Nikita where it's in the bathroom. They tried to redo it in Point of No Return and just
Bridget
they
Fonda
couldn't.
just was not cut out for that role.
No, she wasn't.
No.
But yeah, it's this scene where she's in the bathroom and her boyfriend comes in, and they have this very, oh wow, they have this very, you know, touching, almost gut wrenching, you know, real talk about, you know, love and their relationship, and I think trust. And he leaves the room, and she pulls a sniper rifle out of the tub because she's just killed a man. And
This was the meme I was talking about. Sorry.
Oh yeah, I
And-
posted a link to it. Yeah.
but yeah, that scene has stuck with me, and it's only in the French version. Yeah, the American remake, Point of No Return, just definitely could not do it. Definitely the TV show definitely didn't have that well, that ennui feeling. Really.
Is that what it's
No,
called? Is
ennui
ennui?
feeling.
The
Is that-
only two actors I thought that fit for the Point of No Return was Gabriel Byrne and Anne Bancroft. Everybody else seems so out of place.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much.
Yeah.
So, Ralt, what's your favorite film?
My favorite film. That's tough. I like a lot of different films. I'm very partial to Night of the Living Dead 1990. The one that Tom Savini directed and produced.
Oh, wasn't Bill Moseley in that? He was the dickhead brother that got killed in like the first 2 minutes.
Yeah.
That's such a good movie.
I don't know. I like a lot of movies. It depends on my mood and everything. I get asked that all the time, and it's like, that's really tough. Rock and Rule is one of my favorites, though, I will say.
That is a rarity.
Not very many people have heard of it.
I have not heard of it. This is new for me.
You've got to watch it at least once.
All right.
I mean, let's see.
Remember, I've talked about that rare, forgotten cyberpunk genre that was kind of rock and roll fantasy?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, where the rocker boy came from.
Yeah, like the film Streets of Fire. Rock and roll.
Oh, okay. Is it like Streets of Fire? Because I like that movie.
Kinda. It's
If it
along
was
those
animated.
lines.
It's animated.
Okay.
Oh God, Streets of Fire was really good.
That movie's it was underrated when it came out. Now people look back on it and they're like, holy shit, this movie's brilliant.
Oh, me and a friend
It
of
was
mine.
one of those ahead of its time films.
Oh, very much so. I mean, that movie is what inspired the creator of Bubblegum Crisis.
Yes, it did. And it's amazing how much it influenced it.
Oh,
Now,
yeah.
If you're
Between
gonna
that
Somebody
and
asked-
Blade Runner.
Yeah.
if you're gonna watch Rock and Rule, you need to watch the one you can find on YouTube that was been restored,
Okay.
because there was two different versions put out. One was American, and one was in Canada. And the one in America, they replaced the male protagonist's voice with one of the guys from Lenny and Squiggy.
Really?
And they changed the ending, and so you need to get the one where the male protagonist does not have a New York accent.
Okay. Yeah, I'm on YouTube right now, and there's different versions. Movie Freak, Little Mew, I don't know who's who.
But there's one where they put it all back together, and God, I love that movie.
Actually,
Whoa,
got a
Debbie
copy somewhere.
Harry's the vocals in this?
Yes.
they've got some really big names in it.
How
Actually,
have I
it's
not
kinda
heard of this?
I'm surprised Wolf hasn't seen it, him being a furry.
Yeah, actually.
Points to
It
anyone
looks-
that recognizes what they're looking at.
It looks like it's in the
There you go.
same vein as heavy metal.
Yes. Yeah, it came
I
out around
love
the same
heavy
time.
metal. That's a fantastic
There
fucking
you go.
film.
This one.
Okay, thank you. Oh my gosh. Cheap Trick, Earth, Wind, and Fire, Debbie Harry, Lou Reed, Iggy Pop. I cannot believe I've never seen this. I feel stupid.
It was.
It's
It was
okay.
a
I mean,
box
it is one
office
of those
failure.
films that was forgotten.
because they got screwed over. The American version was released, and the company that distributed it only released it to a handful of theaters. And then the advertising for it was all glitched out. I mean, I saw it
Unreal.
because a buddy of mine had a
Is that just the
VHS tape of
trailer,
it.
or is that?
I
That's the
think
whole
that's
movie.
the full film.
Oh, okay.
This should be a classic by now. Like, this should be an actual classic that's on everybody's lips. I can't believe this.
Once you watch it, you're like, this is a classic.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean,
It did so
chilling
many
part
things.
the chilling line of "you killed my brother" is just boom, makes the whole thing.
Oh man. Okay, yeah. So I need to watch Gene Simmons in drag and Hot Debbie Harry animated.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait.
And it surprises me that I know a lot of furries, and none of them have ever heard of it. And it's like, how can you be a furry and not have heard of this movie? I'm not a furry, and I've seen this movie.
The only reason, I'll be honest, the only reason I even know it exists is back in my goth industrial days when I'd go to clubs. It was one of the films that they would just run on a loop on all the TV screens without the sound on.
We had this dude in the unit who had all the movies that none of us had ever heard of. He had Akira. He had The Girl with No Panties, aka Valley of the Winds. He had Rock and Rule. He had all this stuff. And so we'd sit in his room and watch it. And if you gave him $10, he'd run you a copy. But hell, I didn't know what Valley of the Winds was called for years because it was glitched, and it was poor enough resolution, like it looked like she wasn't wearing any clothes underneath the skirt. So she'd take off on the jet and be like, there she goes without her underwear.
Okay, have you seen the actual cut of the film, not the American cut?
Yes.
Oh, so you're talking about Nausicaa, Valley of the Wind. I'm
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
So say, okay, yeah, she's wearing all blue in that film, but I can see if it's glitched. Yeah, it looks like she's wearing no panties.
Yeah, because she's wearing tights.
Yeah.
And it was a really shitty copy of a VHS tape in the 90s. No, sorry, in the 80s, not in the 90s, in the 80s. So it wasn't very good, but it was good enough that we could get drunk and watch it.
That's my favorite Miyazaki film.
I love the story behind it, which is that when he wrote the manga, he was trying to portray a perfect communist utopia. And in writing it, he came to the conclusion communism is fundamentally broken and cannot work and is oppressive. And so it's in the story.
Which was
I did not know that. Mm-hmm. That's actually really cool. Like, thinking back on, does that mean that the one queen that's been fighting the bugs the whole time, the one that had her arm ripped off and it's replaced by a cybernetic one, is she capitalism?
I don't know if she was supposed to be capitalism or not, but she's definitely industry.
Yeah, because they're basically I don't want to say steampunk, because like I said, she has the cybernetic arm, but they're not cyberpunk either.
Right. But what happens is that film actually changed Miyazaki's life, and it was after writing that and realizing communism is fundamentally broken and evil that he came to the conclusion he went back actually to traditionalism.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
The funny thing is if you've only seen the more recent restored version you can get on YouTube, where they have what's his name, Patrick Stewart's voice in it. If you look at it and it says it stars Patrick Stewart's voice in it, you're getting a new translation, and I hate the new translation. I fucking loathe it because the old translation was a lot different. Oh God, during the ending, when the Omer approaching and the fire giant is being brought up, that witch preaches to you about ecologicalism. And it just infuriated me. There's a few other parts in it that just irritated the hell out of me, because when they redid the voice acting for the American audiences, they changed it. And it annoyed me to no end. But I'm easily annoyed.
I watched it. I watched it with the Patrick Stewart version because I was watching it with Chris, and he was still too young to keep
Subtitles.
up with subtitles. But like, I liked the movie, and I thought it was kind of preachy at the end. But it was Miyazaki, so I was like, I'll let it slide. But now you're really making me want to go back because I've got both dubbed and subbed.
Well, the interesting thing is the Christ metaphor in it that it seems like a lot of people missed.
How could you miss
instead
that?
of the
Even my
blood
drunk,
being red, it
stupid
was
ass
blue.
knew it.
I missed both of that.
Even my drunk half-wit ass got the Christ metaphor when she comes back to life.
No, I was saying I did too, but instead of it being the blood of the lamb in red, it was she was soaked in the bug's blood. It was blue.
Yeah, and the baby bug was a lamb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And apparently in Japan, among the many things blue can mean, it's the color of the commoner.
Really?
Yeah.
I learned so much new stuff every episode. I love it.
See, I didn't know that. Hey,
right now I'm working on an entire section. People asked about Boobs of Steel. I'm currently working on what happened in Japan.
Are you still rolling around on the floor with that thing?
Huh?
Are you still rolling around on the floor knife fighting with that book?
Yeah, God, it's gonna fucking kill me. It's my masterwork, but it's gonna kill me. I'm writing about
one word at a time.
I cover Go Nagai, Shiro Matsumune, and I cover Bubblegum Crisis. And I am so looking forward to running it past you two.
I can't wait because I've seen both the original Bubblegum Crisis and Bubblegum Crisis 2040.
What do you think of 2040? Because we tried to watch it, and I'd like your take on it.
Who wouldn't want to bone this woman?
I saw 2040 in 1998, so I saw it before the original Bubblegum Crisis, so I have fond memories of watching it on VHS with my friends while being high.
Okay.
The first time I saw the original, I saw it with the bad dubbing, and so I was done by episode 2. I went back and I watched it. I finally was able to watch it subbed. Fucking great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Actually, we just recently purchased it, and he's been showing it to me subtitled, and because I've never seen Bubblegum Crisis, none of it, strangely enough. And so I asked him, I'm like, is there a reason why we're only watching subbed? I'm not complaining. I'm just curious. He goes, you don't want that. It's like, okay, want none of that. Got it.
Steve refuses to. It was so bad for him that when I was like, hey, I've got it subbed, he's like, no, that was the most awful thing I've ever watched. It's ruined Bubblegum Crisis for me. He wouldn't go. I even bought 2040. I got it on Xbox for sale for like $5, the entire series. I was like, sit down and watch it. Just watch it subbed. He's like, no, that horrible American dub ruined it for me purposely, like forever. He will not watch it.
Yeah, no, you've got to watch the subbed because the woman who does Pris's voice, Amori, holy crap, is it sexy?
Mm-hmm.
No, I like her voice subbed. Or not subbed. Yeah, subbed. Subtitles, the original there. Not dubbed. So I don't know if you guys ever use Retro Crush. It's anime, the old school anime for free, and it's all subbed. But you have to deal with commercials, and I'm okay with dealing with commercials to actually see good sub stuff.
Cool. I don't see, I don't like commercials. I'll fast forward through them, but it doesn't bother me too much. I don't like them on YouTube. I don't mind them on YouTube, but I mind them when I'm paying for a Hulu subscription. They throw them at me. I started objecting when cable TV started having commercials on every channel because it's like, you know what? I'm paying you for this, and you're putting commercials. Now we're done.
Yeah, so you don't pay. Retro Crush is free unless you do premium. So I'm like, since I don't want to pay for it, I'll deal with the commercials. So like, I got to actually see. I got to rewatch Project Echo actually in its subbed version and not the crappy dubbed American version. And that was great. I love Project Echo.
Okay, everyone, just for the hell of it, I'm going to scroll through all the pages you never got to see from Titanium Rain 2. That's right. This book never got to be published.
Well, publish it then. Seriously. I'll just fucking nag you.
See, the thing is, maybe Janelle, your nagging will work because mine doesn't.
Titanium, I say it all the time. Titanium Rain, in my opinion, is your best work. Now, it might get knocked out of the park by Boobs of Steel.
Well, Boobs of Steel's a factual work, though. That doesn't count.
Well, okay. But Titanium Rain, listening to the audio drama, the way everything was explained, I was like, holy shit. I've said it several times. How is this not a TV show? How is this not a movie? How is this not an ongoing series?
There were so many opportunities our publisher fucked up, to be honest.
I hate that.
There was a company that wanted to turn it into a tabletop role-playing game or a strategy game with miniatures and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And the publisher said no.
What? You guys would have made bank alone on the miniatures.
I
Because
did
people
a
just
little
collect
bit of,
miniatures and paint them.
You mentioned that a while back, and I did take a look for any asymmetrical games out there because I thought a lot about the old paper Steve Jackson game Ogre. And I did take a look, and you would only have one competitor, as far as I could tell from my shitty Google search, and they're pretty well established. But just because you'd have one competitor doesn't mean that there's no market, because different rule set, different ideas, stuff. Because you did mention it when we were talking, and I did take a look to see what kind of competition you'd be looking at. Not much. And with 3D printing coming out, I mean, as much 3D printing is out there, you've actually got a slightly different marketing than I'll talk to you on the phone or whatever sometime, where you could literally sell in the PDF version. You got the PDF rule book that they can print out, but the zip file comes with the template for them to 3D print their own figures, which would actually definitely get eyes, because times are tough, life is hard, and we had to buy our own fucking Christmas cards. And that lets people, then you could you could have a part on your homepage where you showcase people's painted figures. And I know I'm tripping your anxiety here if you're anything like me, thinking I was just talking about this, I don't want to get into this, but I did a little bit of market research, and it's actually out there.
Really, I'll be honest. Really, the big hurdle for both Kat and I is that I am almost ashamed to admit this, but the moral crushing defeat of having our company nearly destroyed and losing all our friends was really hard to recover from. And
I'm still working on it, honestly.
Really, yeah, I should just shut the fuck up and publish this stuff. I really should. It's there, it's waiting.
You guys lost all your friends and your company was nearly crushed, but it wasn't crushed, and you gained a shit ton of new friends like me. And so publish your shit so I can buy it.
I folded my tabletop RPG company and walked away from it, and walked away from writing and tabletop RPGs and everything else for 12 years. That doesn't mean you can't come back, man. It's called fall back and regroup.
That's
Yeah,
a
do
good
it.
way to view it.
Nobody, nowadays everybody thinks you succeed on your first time. You don't succeed on your first time. I mean, you succeed after taking the punches. Okay, do you ever watch the Rocky movies? I know, but do you ever watch the Rocky movies?
1 and 3.
I've watched something. 1 through 4.
I've watched them all. Love them. He says something in one of them. It's not about how hard you can hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving. And it is. It's all about how hard you can get hit and keep moving. And
I want to watch Rocky.
They're
good films, actually. They really are.
I've actually never seen them, so I really need to.
I highly recommend them because, I mean, they are about boxing, but I mean, the boxing is really only a small part of it. It's really about an underdog, and it's based on the first Rocky movie is based on a true story.
Really?
Yes.
Did not know that.
It's
Yeah.
the funny thing is he wrote the script and he was actually living in a bus station at the time.
Really?
Yeah. Stallone was down on his luck living in a bus station.
Wait,
He was
Stallone
so
wrote that?
down on his luck, he was starring in porn films. That's where he
Yes.
got the nickname the Italian Stallion.
I
Yep.
did know that.
Yep. He was at the bus station, and if I recall right, I'm pretty sure it was him, but I think they actually called him at the bus station phone.
Really?
It was, yeah, how Sylvester Stallone went from living in a bus terminal to being worth $400 million. He had to
That's why
sleep
he's
in the
so
bus
Wow.
station, and he I think he almost sold his dog.
That's why he's so overprotective of the series, because right now he's in a legal battle with the studios because they've decided to make a spin-off film about Ivan Drago. He's really pissed at Dolph Lundgren. I guess Dolph Lundgren said, "I thought you were on board." Because I mean, he wrote Rocky and then he wrote Creed, which is, Rocky's now in the role of Mickey. And he's training Apollo Creed's son to be the next boxer. And that's why they had Creed 2 was about Apollo Creed's son fighting Ivan Drago's son. You find out
Yeah.
what happened to Ivan Drago, how his life was destroyed because Rocky whipped his ass on home soil.
It's gonna sound strange, but finding out that Stallone actually did, have hard times and live on the streets, and was, basically living in a cardboard box, trying to make his dream. A, I have more respect for him now, and B, that suddenly makes some of the scenes in Demolition Man more interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, like him
Yeah.
eating the rat burger. It's like,
I'll have you know this photo got me sick. That's all.
Oh, God, did you put on a mask after a kid wore it?
Yep, at Walmart. That was the stupidest thing I ever did. But anyway,
I'll have to find the picture of myself doing the same thing, but with the Captain America hat, looking like a total dork to the point where Steve took the picture. I even posed like fucking Captain America.
So,
by the way, most of these pictures are for purchase if you actually want to use them for your fantasy novels. Anyone out there listening?
Actually, if I do get my brewing business off the ground, if I paid you, would you be interested in doing the designs for my labels?
Oh, sure. I'm actually I'm schooled in graphic design. I've got a degree in it, believe it or not,
got a
along
piece
with
of
writing.
paper with a BA on it and everything.
That and creative writing. Because
Alright,
they
yeah.
kicked me out of the journalism department.
oh, what do you know? Lundgren
Why,
came
because
out
you
and
had
said-
ethics?
Lundgren came out and said about the Drago spinoff that there's no approved script, no deals in place, no director, and I was personally under the impression that my friend Sty Stallone was involved as a producer and even as an actor.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Stallone's
So, yeah.
apparently pissed, real pissed, as into the point where he said, after Irwin Winkler and family suck Rocky dry, presumed to be the most hated, untalented, decrepit producer in Hollywood, and his cowardly children have found their next meal. Drago? Damn.
Yeah,
Wow.
Stallone went batshit, and you could tell that Dolph Lundgren had been fed a line of bullshit and thought Stallone was on board, because he was like, "I'm sorry, dude." So
They've been friends. They've been friends since Rocky IV.
Yeah, so of course, like I'm pretty sure Lundgren probably backed out at this point. He's not gonna fuck him over. If he does, that's really sad.
Dolph Lundgren used to live in a place called Independence Valley out in Washington State. And you'd see him every once in a while down in the store in the town called Rochester, and he'd drop like $100 on the counter of the store, and he'd go back and just eat candy because he'd be loading up on candy to go hit the weights and everything. And it was kind of like this big quiet secret in town. And every once in a while, somebody new would be like, "I swear to God, I just saw a guy who looks exactly like Dolph Lundgren shoplifting in the candy aisle."
But no, he just put his money down and was fisting the bins. That's great. Apparently, he is a huge dork too, just like an absolute geek.
He is, actually, from my understanding.
I used to have a place out in Independence Valley.
Yeah, like totally
Nice.
socially awkward, like kind of like well, Henry Cavill's not as socially awkward, but like, the same thing, like total dork, total geek, but has a really fit body, super intelligent, and is also an actual martial artist.
And it's kind of funny because a lot of people don't know, he's got a degree in engineering, and do you know what he did before Rocky?
He was a bodyguard, and he was banging Grace Jones.
He was Grace Jones's bodyguard, and then he did a lot of nude pictures with her.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a bad job.
No.
That's how
Yep.
he got the bodyguard role in A View to a Kill, and that's what got him noticed by Hollywood.
And he was in this, I know a lot about him because, he lived out in the middle of nowhere. But yeah, it's kind of funny because.
Do you think I should reprint this book sometime?
Yeah, I do.
Yes.
Yeah, I do.
That kind of stuff is really kicked off again. It's getting a resurgence.
Yeah, he has an entire art book that actually sold out of its first pressing. And printing has gotten cheaper. So
how long does it take you to do pictures like that?
Well, I don't have a 3D program anymore, so it's not really a question I can answer. At the time, usually it was the model that took the most. Once the model was done, it was rendering it out and just kind of making it look nice in Photoshop. So the model was probably about a week worth of work. The Photoshop work was usually a day. And as we can see, this model here was used again here. And I believe here as well. But yeah, this was another period where I just cranked out a bunch of these. I wish I had a 3D program that I was fluent in, but it's been so long. I along with graphic design, I got trained in a program called Lightwave, which I really liked, but apparently it's not used anymore.
SketchUp is supposed to be good.
Yeah, I just need to sit down and learn it. But yeah, I just say, look, we only made 100 of these?
250.
250.
Mm-hmm. And we sold out.
I don't think SketchUp is the really detailed one. I think it's more. I think it's.
Yeah, there's
more
another one, and I can't remember what it's called.
There's Blender, but.
Blender, yeah, there's Blender. That's the one Kamui Cosplay uses.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry if I'm a little slow here, but I'm drunk.
Oh.
I wish I could join you guys in that tonight, but I have to take my kid to school in the morning. I need to be the responsible parent.
Well, there's nothing wrong with being a responsible parent. Being a responsible parent is a rarity and a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's really sad is I have noticed that today, or maybe it's just the media focuses on it, but I swear there's don't be a responsible parent, be like a parent who just does their own thing. I don't I do understand.
I think the be your kid's friend, not their parent thing of the 90s fuck shit up.
I agree 100%.
Hey, users, I've got a ton of these as prints. Do you want to buy them? Seriously, if so, email me.
You should put them up, man.
What am I hearing in the background? Is it time to end the show?
Oh, that was my wife. That was my wife talking to my daughter.
No, my kid's asleep.
Okay.
No, I'm sure you guys would have heard Chris if he rampaged, and he's never quiet.
I like Chris. Chris doesn't give a shit.
He's a good kid.
Chris doesn't put up with anything.
No, he doesn't. And he's really inherited our personalities because we're starting to feel it. The pushback is real.
I hope you have a kid just like you. Why would you say that to me?
My mom said that to me, and I was like, well, I'm never going to have kids. Look, I had one, and he has my fucking sarcastic attitude.
And he acts like an asshole just like me.
Yes! But what's worse is he's also got Steve's attitude. And so compound that together, and you've got Chris.
You don't have any
And
kids, do
Chris
you, Ralts?
talks shit.
Well, he has kids.
Do you
Me?
have kids, Ralts?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got a son and 3 daughters.
Oh,
They're
okay.
all,
Sorry,
they're all
I'm
adults.
drunk.
They're all adults.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my oldest is 35.
Oh,
No,
wow.
yeah, 35. Yeah.
You know, I wish I was mentally capable of doing what you guys did, but I know I'm not. Maybe this
Nobody,
is the drunkenness talking, but I
nobody
am not
is.
equipped as a parent.
I don't have maternal instincts in that regard. I have rats. That's the extent of my caretaking. So
Look, my parents were not meant to be parents. I will say that. But I think I turned out okay.
I think so.
I think I
Yeah.
turned out all right, despite being, a junkyard dog. I think I turned out pretty good.
Actually, Ralts, it is quite frankly a miracle that you are as functional as you are.
No, it's a miracle he's alive. Be honest.
That too.
Yeah. Oh God. So yesterday, I'm on a stream with a friend of mine,
Oh
right?
shit! Here we go.
And I'm out in the front. I'm sitting on the front porch, and it got cold, but the pavement, the cement of the front porch is still warm, and we got a carpet on the front porch. I'm sitting on the bench, and I'm sitting there with the lodgings in talking, and everybody all of a sudden hears me go, "Oh shit!" And then there's times for a second I'm like, "All right, I'm just gonna stand here, and you just sit right there because I don't think you can see me." What happened was when I stood up, there was a rattlesnake that I didn't see.
Oh,
About 7 inches, so he's just a little guy, and
even worse.
I stepped on him, and he struck at me, and he caught the front of my pants. He got the front of my pajamas, and the venom squirted. The venom. He fucking squirted. He did me on the first date. He squirted on me, and I'm standing there, and luckily it's cold and it's rainy. It's a little rainy, and there's wind, so that fucks up his motion sensing and it fucks up his heat vision. And I had to wait until he fucked off. So everybody on the stream is hearing me talk perfectly calm, perfectly calm, perfectly calm, and then I'm like, "Oh my God, that was a rattlesnake."
Oh God.
And then I came inside, and my wife made me pull up my pant leg, and you could see all the venom on my leg. And
Oh,
she's giving me this look like, "I hate you so much sometimes." She had
I
more
only
of
had
a
once.
she had more of a shake apart than I did.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
Dead was in this Undead Ramen was in the stream with me when it happened, and I'm all
dear
perfectly
God.
calm while there's a deadly reptile.
Jesus
Only once
Christ.
have I ever been that close to a reptile. It was a summer in California. It was the middle of the night, and it just happened to be cold enough that when my boots sat down next to it, it rattled, and I just kept on walking. I am damn lucky that it was cold enough that it didn't care.
Well, that and it wasn't a youngin. Because
Yeah.
if it was a youngin, it would have struck at you no matter what.
Hey, I've got a story.
Yeah.
When I was 15, my dad took us whitewater rafting. That's when you go whitewater rafting, you're pretty much like roughing it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And we'd sleep out underneath the stars. My mom has a incredible fear of snakes. Like, we're talking, she'd wake up screaming from nightmares about them. So we're laying out underneath the stars, and my mom keeps saying, "There's something crawling on my sleeping bag." And my dad would get up and he's like, "There's nothing there, Patty. There's nothing there." And she would not sleep. She's like, "I swear to fucking God, something is trying to get into my sleeping bag." And my dad kept blowing her off. Well, it starts raining. And so we all get up because we're trying to pitch the tent. Lo and behold, there's a fucking rattlesnake trying to get into my mom's sleeping bag.
Because she's
The
warm.
whole
Because it's
time.
warm.
Because she's
Yep.
warm.
And my mom shrieked, woke up everybody except for the guys that were doing the rafting. They were up partying, so they were all shit-faced. And the lead rafter comes over and is like, "Oh, it's a rattlesnake," and lets it crawl up his fucking leg as we're just sitting there.
God.
Yeah, we're
That's a
like,
dumb idea.
"Bro, dude, you need to lay off the weed and beer right now." But yeah. My mom, oh my God, my dad did not hear the end of it for the rest of that trip. "I almost fucking died because of you. You told me there was no rattlesnake."
Oh my God.
Oh, jeez.
I actually think she was able to get a nice turquoise and diamond ring out of it. Well, because he sat
Wow.
there the whole night telling her she was crazy, and she wasn't.
I wouldn't hear the end of that. I would not hear the end of that because
Oh no, she
I
brought
believe
it up all the time.
it would be 30 years later, and I'd still be worse. I'd still be hearing about it.
Oh,
Oh
that's
my
only because she
God.
loves you.
Look, I still let Steve hear about the time that I was like, hey, remember when we were on our honeymoon and the first day we were out, you got our camera stolen because you wouldn't put it away? Because he hooked it to his belt. And he's like, nobody's going to steal it off me. Sure enough, they cut the belt loop, didn't even feel it. So all of our pictures from our first day in London were gone. And I never let him hear the end of that because I love needling him.
Fortunately, Kat doesn't do that.
What, needle you?
Nah.
Well, for everything I could needle you about, you'd needle me about. So it's kind of like I don't want to provoke that.
I don't know. We've got such an easy relationship.
Yeah.
We don't really argue even.
No, not really.
Not unless you're like really, really mad or I've done something horribly insensitive.
Yeah.
People sometimes think Steve and I don't like each other because we show our affection by needling and talking shit to each other. That's how we show affection. It doesn't mean that I hate him, because he does this when I come home injured from like doing practice. He says the G in my name sounds for Gimp, and he's like, "Hey, what's going on, Gimp Penner? How you doing, Gimp Penner?" So
Oh,
go
sorry.
ahead. I was just gonna say that's how we show affection. So yeah, like we just needle each other.
Well,
I
there's a
would
big
die for
difference
him.
between,
So
like ribbing somebody and like actually being a bitch, you know.
Oh,
There's a
no.
big difference.
That's why I said Chris picked that up, so he does the same thing to us. Like he'll just be like, "Hey, remember that time you accidentally slammed my hand in the door, Mom, when you were closing the door and didn't realize it? Remember when you injured me?" Just like, "God damn it, Chris, I'm sorry." Well, no, okay, I was in a hurry and I thought that he was holding onto the door frame and I thought he'd let go. And so I closed the door and I hear this and I'm like, "Oh shit." And there's Chris's fingers stuck in the door. I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm a horrible mother." And so, yeah, he still brings that up. Like, yeah. I'm like, "Okay, I'm sorry." Because,
Well,
yes, as a parent, you do stupid shit like that. Sometimes you don't pay attention.
as long as it's done on accident.
Oh, no, it was totally on accident. I felt awful. Like, I mean, I went and bought him ice cream and candy and was like, "You can play video games all you want. You don't have to do homework today. I'm so sorry. I'm evil." And he learned because oh, did I tell you guys about how his friend narked him out? Oh, okay. Everybody's going to love this.
Okay.
So Chris has his best friend over. He's known her since he was 4. And he, I guess, had told her that, "Hey, every time I give my mom sad eyes, she gives me what I want." So she came out and told me. I was like, "Oh, really?" He's like, "I didn't say that, Mom, I swear." But because trying not to laugh, I was like, "Oh, no." But yeah, he bragged about it to his friends. Like, "Yeah, watch, I'll give her sad eyes and she'll get us like treats." And he gave me sad eyes, so I gave them treats. And then he bragged about it, so she came out and narked him out.
Wow.
Well, I'm going to show you how much. What's that?
I said after this, I got to go pretty soon. So.
Oh, that's understandable. It's getting kind of late.
Well, we've been at it for almost 2 hours.
But it's been a great show.
Yeah.
But, just living the dream. I just want to reiterate how much this woman loves me for absolutely no reason. Really, I don't know what this gigantic breasted woman sees in me. But she bought me this thing. The thing's 13 inches tall.
Is that the original Jetfire?
Yes.
Like the Japanese version?
Yes.
Oh my God. She loves you so much.
Yes.
I don't know why she loves me. I'm an asshole.
I don't think I've ever seen or heard you be an asshole to Kat, though. You treat her like an empress.
No,
For real.
He's very good to me. He's very good to me. So
But
that's why
yes,
he gets a Jetfire.
This weekend, she got me this thing. And it is perfect grade, and it's 13 inches tall.
Mm-hmm.
And frankly, I'm still having trouble imagining the fact that it really is sitting there on my display case.
We
That's
need to get
really
it under
cool.
glass for you.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, that's
I'm really drunk.
Right.
I think I better call it a night.
Yeah, I think we better call it a night.
Do you have anything to say, Kat?
Thank you everyone for joining us this evening. As always, thank you, Janelle, and thank you so much, Roltz, for joining us. It's always a pleasure chatting with you. Please check out Roltz's books, link in the description below. I'm a little tipsy, so I'm slurring my words. I do apologize. Check out Ishii's books and check out his DeviantArt channel. Link in the description below as well. And Roltz, Janelle, anything else you would like to add?
Buy Roltz and Ishii's books.
Yeah, I'm going to repeat that. Look, you guys, do yourself a favor. Buy Roltz's book. Seriously, it is worth your time.
Mm-hmm.
You're sick of all the bullshit. You're going to enjoy this.
Yes,
They're
indeed.
different. They're they're really different.
I like
what do
that.
I
That's your sales pitch. They're different.
Yeah. Just
They're hilarious.
stay
And
calm
yet,
and keep going.
yet
Just
very
stay calm and
serious
keep
at the
going, and
same
you'll be
time.
good.
All right. Well, I'm past functional. I better
Good night,
go.
everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Right.